Let's jump right into the action on this one. I managed to squeeze the cement truck between the house and the barn, but we still had to use come-alongs to pull the concrete to the far end of the patio. Notice the pipe in the center of the slab. You'll see in a sec that's what we run the 2x4 screed board on. Also, if you're using wire mesh, be sure to pull it up halfway up into the slab. I have a steel rod with a hook on it to do this. We pulled enough concrete into place, so now we can screed this section off. Up against the house, I'm using the expansion joint to rest my screed board on. The other end rides on the pipe. After each section is screeded, I like to bowl float it right away. And this helps to flatten it out and push any stones down while it's still nice and wet. Pulling all that concrete is quite a workout, and I was completely exhausted that evening. Screeding is a minimum of a two-man job, and the third person is very helpful to pull excess mud away or push more where you're low. Kate and I did these first two sections by ourselves, but Jay and Chase showed up to help with the rest of it. So here you can see I should have had all my wire mesh down before we started pouring, but I was able to push this section into place, no problem. And then you can see I slid the pipe down into the next section and then filled the void where the pipe was. Once the entire slab has been bowl floated, I like to use the edger tool to push any stones down and round the edge over. I might do this another time or two as it sets up, depending on how much of that edge is going to show and how nice I want it to look. This tool is called a Fresno, and it's basically a large finishing trowel on a long handle. I like to use this on outdoor slabs that are going to get a broom finish, because you might be able to see there that it's hard to get the finish really smooth with this tool. Maybe with more practice I could get better at it. I had to get out on knee boards to finish the edge against the house. I wanted to make sure it was sealed off nice and was no voids or imperfections there. It's hard to get that on the end of the with the Fresno on the end of the handle. Before I owned a Fresno, I would do this out on knee boards. I'd take one pass over the entire slab, and before I did a broom finish on it, and that was just to make sure that everything was nice and flat and smooth. So you can see I'm using two different tools here when I'm on knee boards. I'm using a mag float in one hand, and that's just to get the surface roughed up a little bit and get a little bit of cream to the top. And then I have a finishing trowel on the other hand, which is what I used as my final pass as I work my way back.
Try a broom. See what it looks like.
What are you doing down here first?
Walk it over to him. I can't lift it all that way.
I always put a broom finish on my outdoor slabs. Some people may not like the look of it, but I do it for safety's sake. I really don't need anybody in my family or any visitors to slip on an icy spot on smooth concrete.
Nice getting this on video. The boys are writing their name in it right now. It was a little iffy. I wasn't even sure if we were going to do it today because all the rain and stuff that was coming, but it's still, there's a chance of thunderstorms yet tonight, so I'm going to give this as much time as I can to dry, and then I'm going to put some plastic over it and help protect it from the beating rain.
After your slab is cured overnight, or within a few days anyways, you should probably consider cutting some control joints in it. So I cut this slab into quadrants. They're about 10 foot by 12 foot each. And that's because, I mean, most slabs are going to crack no matter what. Even though I did put remesh in this and I also added fiber to the mix, it's still being outside with freezing and thawing and settling, it's a good chance it's going to crack. So if it does crack, I want it to crack along one of these control joints. And I just cut that with that Bosch concrete saw. So I cut those control joints with just my regular circular saw, and I have a 7-inch Bosch concrete blade, and I'll put a link for that in the description if you want to check that out. But I cut it about 3/8 of an inch deep. Went through pretty good. Just don't force it, just take it nice and slow. You can rent a bigger saw that's like water cooled and everything if you have a lot of joints to cut, but I find actually that works really well. So I hope this was helpful. If it brought you value, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Hit the bell notification too if you want to get notified every time I post a video. Thanks for watching.